Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to Lifestyle with Dr. Moby. I'm Dr. Moby, and today we are honored with two great guests. Let's welcome Lillian again. Hi, Lillian.
Hello.
And we have Nathan, the naturopath. Hi, Nathan.
Hi.
So I just want to tell about both of them actually, and they are from Australia, far away from us, but they have a beautiful message, and we're gonna learn a lot from. We have already talked to Lillian about coping with parenting skills, and it was a wonderful, wonderful episode. Now we have a product of that wonderful episode, and that's Nathan. So she really is so proud of you, Nathan. She really talks volumes about you. So it was pleasure to see both of you and to be on the guest. Thank you for both of you coming.
You're welcome. It's great to be
Thank
here.
you.
Okay, so Nathan, tell me about your journey. Tell me about what do you like about holistic medicine?
Well, I first was introduced to a holistic approach due to the journey of my brother, which many of your listeners may already know about. At age 3, he was diagnosed with ADD, ADHD, childhood depression, and I watched my family, my parents, taking from practitioner to practitioner to try and find a solution. It wasn't until he went and saw a pharmacist, homeopath, and naturopath, and this was one practitioner, that he actually started to see results. And we were so impressed with the results that he got that because my family at that stage had became more a natural base, removing chemicals and bringing in minerals and supplements into the family's diet, they started to share the knowledge and wisdom of this practitioner with all our friends and family. And, he was great. He let me sort of sit in some of his consultations, and that really inspired me to be able to want to do the same. Between that and Mum and Andrew running seminars with hundreds of people in our local community and the news coming and doing a series on them, I started to see the impact they were having on families, teaching parents how to deal with their children. And I was like, I want that too. I want to get emails and messages saying, thank you so much. You've changed our lives. So I pretty much dedicated the last half of my schooling to switch into medicine. I did 5.5 years at uni full time, 3 degrees, one in nutrition, one in naturopathy, and one in Western herbal medicine. I was then very fortunate to meet a holistic GP, a holistic doctor in Brisbane that owned 2 clinics, one in the Gold Coast, one in Brisbane. And so she started mentoring me and teaching me her holistic medicine experience of, at that point, I think it was about 20 years. And so now I've been a practitioner for, I think this is the 13th year coming up with that clinic. And I'm blessed to work with a team of integrated doctors, psychologists, kinesiologists, naturopaths, chiropractors, osteopaths, who all work in a big holistic team. And I love basically educating people about their health and inspiring them to, want more.
Okay, well, that is a wonderful journey, and a lot of people might not know what holistic medicine is. So we'll just kind of, can you explain them in simple terms? What do you mean by holistic medicine versus traditional medicine?
Sure. Traditional medicine, you go in because you've got a problem, something's wrong. And then the practitioner that they're seeing is taught to identify the condition, associate a disease to it, and then assign a drug that's used to treat that disease or manage the disease. I never liked this approach because then you're relying upon a particular medicine or drug to manage your disease. I prefer holistically to find out why you have that disease, what's happening in your lifestyle, your diet, your mindset that led you to getting that disease in the first place, and we fix those problems. Then you do not need to rely upon medication. It has its place, but that's holistic medicine, finding the true cause and changing your lifestyle to make sure not only does that disease get corrected, you're preventing future diseases.
So with holistic medicine, it not only deals with one part of the disease, it deals with the whole body, right?
Exactly. Yeah.
So the relationship between different parts of the body, and we try to cure rather than just fix. Like I put a band-aid on the small issue, we kind of try to address the bigger issue, right?
Exactly. If you came into a practitioner with allergies, you're probably going to get given antihistamines.
Mm-hmm.
But instead, holistically, we're looking at, well, why is your immune system hypersensitive? Is there gut issues? Is there food intolerances? Is there methylation problems?
Mm-hmm.
Is it something in the environment? And then we fix that. And along with fixing that, you probably fix a whole bunch of other small niggling problems you had also, and you're preventing a whole bunch more. So it's a fantastic way to approach health.
Mm-hmm. So yeah, so it's not just the tip of the iceberg. You want to see what is beneath that and try to
Yeah,
address whatever we can, and that is
exactly.
wonderful. I love this approach. Myself, I practiced traditional medicine, of course, many years, and still do sleep medicine. But I have realized that we were unfortunately focusing on the different aspect of medicine, which is not curing things or fixing lifestyle. So, actual what is the root of the disease or why is that happening? So, since myself, I struggled through that and I found my way. I lost 100 pounds and keep myself in really healthy lifestyle. And then I am teaching now everybody to focus on lifestyle, holistic medicine, and not use many medications or natural paths. Just with diet, sleep, and exercise, improve your habits. Give your body a chance to heal itself. But we cannot help body if we kind of go against it. Um,
Exactly.
so our natural rhythms, your hormones have tendency to protect you, but if we are fighting that, that's like not helping your body for sure. So also tell me a little bit about your journey since you started doing holistic medicine. What have you seen is the hurdle for people to understand this holistic approach?
When I started Dr. Moby, I was very left-brained, meaning very analytical. I was basically becoming a natural doctor. Instead of using medication, I was using supplements. And
Hmm.
while that does help, only so much.
Hmm.
Instead of assigning a drug, we're assigning nutrients or supplements, along with changing diet. But that only gets you so far. So over the years, what I've learned, a true holistic approach is a lot up here, and a lot of the environment, what someone's thinking, how they're brought up, the limiting beliefs they have, the internal dialogue, the communication that they have with their partners or their children.
Hmm.
It all creates the environment, either good or bad, for their physical body. And so if you're dealing with stress day in, day out, of course, somewhere physically in the body, there'll be a vulnerability. And while I was practicing with the holistic doctors, we would, of course, use a combination of medication when needed, but usually changing someone's dietary habits, using nutrients. But I guess about 5, 6 years ago, I learned that really it comes down a lot to emotional health and energetic health. And so now in our practice, we predominantly look at that alongside, like mind and body, not just the body, uh, using different forms of kinesiology, psych-K, clearing limiting beliefs, helping people with their previous traumas. So we believe this is very, very important alongside of the physical. And of course, we're now loving our use of different technologies that we're putting into people's homes, or we've got machines at the clinic that can speed up health. So it's a very broad, holistic approach, and everyone is different. But I guess everyone needs to have a very healthy mindset,
Hmm.
very good relationship with their family, with their parents, with their children, because ultimately you can physically be healthy, like an athlete, but still have a heart attack because of stress.
Also, Lillian, tell me a little bit about you are actually arranging and you got the master class. Tell us a little bit about that.
Okay, wonderful. So I am very passionate. Nathan and I work together. So when we do our parenting masterclasses and courses, we work together. So I cover all of the relationshiping and the parenting side of things. So we're doing a masterclass on May the 12th, which is a free masterclass called Nurture Your Heart to Greatness: Secrets to Enjoy the Most Amazing Relationship with Your Kids and Create Loving and Lifelong Connections. And that's based on teaching the Nurtured Heart approach, which is such a beautiful heart-centered way of communicating and connecting with people. And it's interesting because Nathan has, even in his clinic, identified with people's current health a lot of issues that happened as they were being children and with their parenting. And that has been like a big part of what we do. But the Nurtured Heart approach, which will be the main component of this masterclass, is teaching people to really have beautiful, heart-centered, connected relationships with their children. And we want to build children's inner wealth and have them really understand that they have real, true greatness, and that, you know, we're going to focus on the positive aspects of them instead of spending time, you know, focusing on the negative. And Nathan and I, we make a really good partnership in that respect. And Nathan will be on the masterclass as well. For the first time, I've also asked my husband to join us on the masterclass, because sometimes it tends to be more the mums that come to these things. But of course, you know, every child has a dad, right? So my husband has his relationship with my son. The changes in the last 10 plus years are amazing. So he's going to share a little bit from the perspective of the dad and how important these relationships are. Because I can tell you, Dr. Moby, when our youngest son, who's now in his late 20s, was a young teenager, my husband and he clashed terribly. They did not have a good relationship. And because of the sort of work that I now teach, they've now been working together for 10 years in a very successful business, and they've never had one harsh word to say to each other. And my husband, I know, is so grateful for that relationship that he now has.
Oh, that is wonderful. I remember you telling me in last episode. I wanted to ask Nathan. Nathan, how was that growing up with your younger brother? How was your relationship? Did you beat him up? Did you beat him up? My elder brother used to beat me.
We need
No,
to.
I was the child that would, you know, sit and play with the Lego for hours upon end, nice and calm, and didn't make any sounds, and could just occupy my own thoughts and, you know, entertain myself. And then my brother, you know, I think it was age 3, was just like a cyclone come in and create all sorts of havoc and destruction. And so it was a big shock, obviously, to a sibling to have all of a sudden someone come in and completely take the focus off you. And then to see your parents just solely focused on him, and see him get away with so much stuff, and the moment you do something wrong, it's highlighted. And so, it was a big change for the family. And I really see when it comes with parents that bring in their children, that one child sits there nicely and behaves, and the other one is getting all the attention for all the wrong reasons. And it's just so important what Lillian teaches, that long term, what impact does that have on that child that was nice and calm, that sort of, you know, entertained themselves? How's their psychological health basically being ignored by their parents? And so you just don't think about it, do you? Because, you know, they're sitting there nicely. I'll just give the attention to the naughty one. So there's a big change when he was younger, cutting out all the food additives, colors, flavors, enhancers, getting nutrition into him, which made a huge difference. And then came teenage years, which came with a whole other set of problems. But then, you know, they went off and learned some more and implemented some new strategies, and again got him back on track. So what we've been through as a family, I think a lot of families can relate to, and because we've lived it, and we've basically gone off and learned the skills of how to deal with it, it's like the perfect way to be able to help someone, because you know exactly what they've been through.
Now that is wonderful, you know. And thank you for sharing that inside scoop of that living with your younger one, and then of course learning both ways from your parent as well as watching them. So also I want to ask you, I know you have special areas of interest. So one is this extracellular matrix detox. So tell me a little bit about that.
Apart from that, I also love sleep, unlike yourself. But with the environment of the body, it's everything. It doesn't matter what condition that you have.
Mhm.
The fluid in our body is allowing all of our organs to live and survive and work within us. And so it all starts from the mouth. The moment you're eating foods you're intolerant to, or if
Mhm.
you take alcohol, medication, you get an infection, it damages the gut. The gut starts leaking, and the toxins leak inside this fluid, the extracellular matrix. And then organs like our liver and our spleen and kidneys have now more work to do to clean this up. And yeah, of course, they're going to do that. But after some time, they get overburdened and they are not able to each time thoroughly clean and keep the balance of our fluid, the extracellular matrix. And then all our metabolic processes slow down. We start to become more sluggish, more toxic. We're not absorbing nutrients as well. And then that has a flow-on effect and virtually starts seeding the cause of most conditions. If you're inflamed all the time and you've got infections and you're very toxic, then it doesn't really matter what medication that you take or supplements. Eventually, something else is going to become a problem. So I really focused on getting the environment, which includes this extracellular matrix, as clean and healthy as possible because that's the foundation of health.
Mhm.
Once you've got the gut and the liver and the spleen and kidneys working, then it's about sleep, right? Like
Yeah.
when we do all of this repair work, it's during sleep when we're storing memories and detoxifying. It's just so important.
Yeah, a lot of chemicals, or your brain gets actually all those toxins or wear and tear, burnout, clean up. So neurons, a lot of extracellular stuff gets cleaned up when we sleep, and so those
Mhm.
are that repair is gone if you're not getting proper sleep. So that is an important aspect. There was always question, why we sleep and why we need sleep, and what really goes into your mind or somebody's mind through that sleep process. Now, so the one of the aspect or one of the theory is that there are toxins build up when it's working, and then to detoxify that area of the brain, clean up pretty much. You need that time to get clean. So that is true, and a lot of neurotransmitter gets filled again, or the body resynthesizes that. Uh, but it cannot do that when it's working. That's true. And
Yeah.
I think you has also had you had also interest in children health and wellness.
Yeah, I guess when I first started, it was all about the nutrition. There are certain amino acids that children need to help them be calm. They need the neurotransmitters like GABA. This will help them promote calmness and it helps them get into a deep sleep, into
Mhm.
that delta sleep.
Mhm.
Then they need things like the tryptophan for the feel-good happy hormone, neurotransmitter serotonin to work. And so there's some really good neurotransmitter testing that we do so we can see how someone is balanced. But again, all these neurotransmitters are not actually made up here. A lot of them are made in the gut. Sure,
Yeah,
the pituitary sends a signal for it to be made, but a lot of it is produced in the gut.
that's true.
And so, yeah, when it came to children, I was like, okay, we need to get their gut healthy. We need to make sure their neurotransmitters are balanced. Often they are full of heavy metals. There's actually quite a few studies that link high amounts of lead with an iron deficiency causing anger problems. So if you
Yeah.
happen to have low iron but also high lead, you're far more prone to being angry.
Mm.
And so there's heaps of relationships with these heavy metals and minerals. So we do a lot
And,
of testing in that area.
and that is so true. And I think we touched. I did a TEDx talk on it. And one of the topic I think I highlighted was that the gut is the second brain. pretty much. And then there are, like you said, there are hormones, actually neurotransmitters produced there by the gut bacteria in interaction with you. So if that gut bacteria is gone, then you have higher levels of depression seen in individuals, as well as, so the gut good hormone serotonin is actually produced a lot by outside, and then somehow it does get a signal to the brain. So that is true. So probiotics, the role of good bacteria is so understudied, and then that's why I think people don't realize that the whole body is communicating all the time.
Yeah.
Is communicating with your gut bacteria. It knows exactly what is. I mean, it is such an amazing job. The body kind of senses every
Yeah.
part of our body by nervous system, indirectly through hormones, as well as all the positive energy, and light, all our senses, they're feeding to the brain all the time, constantly. And so people don't realize that, if you are not seeking sunlight, if you're not going outside, those blue colors of the sky, the blue colors, beautiful blue sky, it has a message. It has a great message. Circadian rhythm, your rhythm of is control, goes out of whack. So it has to be reset every day. And I think we talked a little bit on one of my episodes that brain needs resetting every day by 15-20 minutes. um, but that resetting is gone if you are indoors and you're not looking at beautiful sunlight or sky, or the green colors or the natural. That's the reason all the animal, birds, and all they are in rhythm. They're not on medications. They are not on anything. They take all the natural rhythms and they are perfect. We, on the other hand, we supposed to be the smartest organism on the planet. We think we create all these problems for ourselves. So, welcome to reality.
Yeah, that's it. Like our environment is so toxic. And I soon learned that even after fixing all of that physical stuff, Dr. Modi, it then came back to the environment the child was in when it came to the parents. The parents may have, wanted a more holistic approach and were willing to change the diet and the water that children drank and the supplements that they took, but that's only a part of the story. A bigger part of the story is what that child experiences their parents saying to each other and how the parents communicates with themselves. So I, over the years, noticed that had a much bigger impact on the health of the child than any supplement or diet change could ever possibly create.
Yeah, that is true. And I think people don't realize there is, of course, verbal communication and non-verbal too. So there are non-verbals, and parents, the time you spend in earlier years, that's between 1 to 5. That's when your brain is actually growing, and all your habits will be determined by that interaction. So if you have that great interaction with your parents, especially, then that is the time, right? Rest is just copying that behavior, pretty much. I think Lillian can explain that better, right?
It's very true. The children, we say they're born with like a blank neck top computer. There's no programming. When a child is born, it's clean. There's nothing. There's no programming in there. And then we come along and program the computer, right? And unfortunately, sometimes unknowingly, mainly unknowingly, we program a lot of negativity. We don't tell children what we really want them to hear. We talk to them and use language with them that is not positive and is not building them up as a person and making them feel good about themselves. And then, they program into their little heads, I'm not good enough. I'm not, I'm bad. I can't behave. I'm naughty. I'm, all the wrong things. And then that manifests in all sorts of challenges as they grow up. And then, you know, when doctors and naturopaths like the two of you see adults with health issues, a lot of that comes from that, you know, that programming and the self-esteem and self-worth, you know. And this is why I'm so passionate about this, because we actually want to change the next generation of people. We want, you know, we want to empower our today children and youth to be, you know, the type of person that knows what they want, and they want to live in a beautiful, happy and harmonious world, you know, and they feel good about themselves, therefore they can impart good on others. But if children grow up with this negativity and not feeling good about themselves, then they attract more of that into their lives. They maybe attract abusive partners, relationships that don't serve them. They might attract substance or alcohol abuse, food abuse, and it becomes like a generational cycle. And that's why we want to empower parents today to really change that cycle. And although all of the health stuff is really important, as the two of you have discussed, as Nathan also said, how we have that child believe, what they believe about themselves, their inner wealth, their inner self-esteem and self-worth is so important, because that child who feels good about themselves will then grow up to be an adult who wants to look after their body. You know, they won't want to abuse their body, because they, you know, they have this high self-esteem and self-worth. So my body is worth looking after. So it becomes like, it can be a negative roller coaster, or it can be a positive cycle as well. And we want it to be a positive one for sure.
And I think Nathan had a great point about, you know, lead. So I think that's why it's very important to monitor those toxin levels in when they are kids, you know. So if the lead levels are too high, they can permanently damage your brain, as well as, you know, the bone and, you know, other growth. So that's why it's very important to kind of stay away from the toxins. And
absolutely. You know, it's like we say, it's like a holistic, it's like when you bake a cake, right? You've got to put all the different ingredients in if you want the cake to turn out well. It's the same with us. You know, we need to look at the physical body, the emotional health, the food, the toxins, the language, the relationships. We need to put all of these components in to have the result that we want at the end. We can't just concentrate on only one thing. We have to really incorporate everything into the body. And as the child is forming in their formative years, it's most important for sure.
Well, it was such a pleasure knowing you, Nathan. And like Lillian mentioned, I am really impressed by your knowledge as well as your expertise. And it was fascinating to learn more about your naturopath, medicine.
Thank you very much. You too, Dr. Modi.
And Lillian, once again, thank you for coming as well as bringing Nathan. And I think he has done wonderful, and I see why you are, and we are also proud of what you have done.
That's right. Well, that's why I'm grateful for the journey we had, even though it was challenging, because out of that journey, you know, out of every challenge comes an equivalent or greater benefit. So remember also, Dr. Moby, that when people click on the link, they can also download my favourite book for free. And Nathan tells his story in this book as well. He tells his story of what it was like for him growing up with his younger brother. So Nathan has made a new link where people can now both register for the masterclass and also receive the book for free. So that's... Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I think I did copy that last time too, and we'll send that when we air it again. Thank you for both of you coming all the way. And anytime you want to discuss any particular topic, let me know. I'm just text away, or so I'll be very happy to discuss, because this is so dear to me, as well as, you know, I think you two are wonderful. Keep up the good work, and thank you once again for coming to our show.
Thanks, Dr. Moby. Thank you.
Thanks, Dr.
Take
Moby.
care. Bye. Take care.
Bye.